Hi players, bonjour from Paris. My name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today I'm going to show you a full playthrough of the solo mode of Voidfall, designed by Nigel Buckle and David Turci and published by Mindclash Games. As always, if you learned something new or if you saw something that you like, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's going to help me a lot. Ready to start the journey? Let the easy playthrough begin. Alright guys, so just a few things regarding the setup. First of all, the solo scenario that I have chosen is called Darkest Hour. Second of all, the way that we arrange for a solo game is adding the two safe havens that we can see right over here. They are marked with the scenario. Then we're going to add the crisis board. We have the situation cards, the crisis cards, the war cards. Over here at the galactic board, we can see that we're using the side that is for co-op or solo. Then we're going to have one trade token on each one of the trade spaces. We're going to have the heroic focus cards. We're going to open three cards to the display, as you can see. Then from each deck of the galactic events, we're going to use all the cards, so we don't really need to choose over here the technology. First of all, to see which technology we're going to have, we will need to choose 4 houses randomly. Pay attention that the number of houses that we have, like with this shattered glass, can be between 1 and 3. So we cannot have 0 at all, and we cannot have only shattered glass houses, let's call it like that. Then we're going to take the 8 technologies that we have from these 4 houses, right? Because on each house, it is marked which technologies we're going to have. Then from 3 of these technologies randomly, we're going to take out the first technology that is stated with the influence. And then the rest of the 5, we're going to take the second technology card that is without the influence points. Now from these 4 houses that we have chosen randomly, we're going to put on the board itself as many as the scenario states. Over here we have only 1, so we'll need to shuffle the 4 houses and choose 1 randomly. Now in this game we're going to have as technologies the torpedoes, star bases, orbital docks, energy cells, deep space missiles, sentries, shields, and escape pods. So I think it's a pretty good mixture of technologies of defensive and offensive. So I think that is pretty good. Of course, on the combat board, we added all the technology that is needed. Now over here at the galactic board, as you can see, we have the 4 improved technologies. Now usually we're going to have this bar that is going to remind us that we cannot obtain one of these improved technologies in the first cycle, but I am not so sure where it is right now. So if I'll find it later, great. And if no, well, we just need to remember it. Now the house that I have chosen for this scenario is Shivas, or well, anyways, I'm sorry that I'm mispronouncing, but this is the house. So what we have here basically is that our preferred focus card is going to be politics. And also every time that we're going to resolve a skirmish, we will need to add 1 fleet power to the Voidborn. But if we manage to defend ourselves in that skirmish, then we will receive 2 influence. Also, the starting technology that we're having is the dreadnoughts. The last thing that I want to say is that you probably noticed that over here we don't have the situation cards with number 3, and also we don't have the crisis cards with number 3 on them. And that is because I'm going to play the easy mode for this scenario. Why easy mode? Because I don't want you to hear me curse a lot, because this game can get me upset. But in a good way, because it's challenging. So as you can see over here in the 3 rounds that we're going to have in the 3 cycles, we're not going to add any one of the third situation or crisis cards. So I just removed them from the table. I think there is no reason to use them. Now we'll need to prepare our situation deck. So we're going to go to the first cycle, and we can see that we will need to have 6 cards with situation cards number 1. So this is what we have right over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? I'm not going to insult your intelligence and mix them because everything is going to be the same. So I'm I'm just going to put it over here. Pay attention not to confuse between the war deck and the situation deck. So I'm just going to put this a little bit off the board right now. And now that we want to start the game, of course, we're going to skip everything and we're going to go directly to phase A number 4. That is to reveal the first galactic event. So first of all, it says that we're going to have 5 turns in this cycle. Then the first thing that we have to do, if we can of course, is to add 1 reclaim token and 1 sector defense on 1 adjacent Voidborn sector. In our case, we have only 1, and this is this one right over here. So we're going to have a 1 sector defense added. This is 1, and we're going to have 1 random reclaim token. There you go. The next thing that we may do, but I don't really see a reason not to do it, is to either upgrade 1 glory token and activate one of our fleet powers, or to advance 1 time on one of our civilization tracks. Now guys, I'm going to say it right now, and it's going to last us for the rest of the video. I'm not here to give you any kind of strategical advices. Probably I'm going to do some strategical mistakes or something like that. I just want to show you how it goes. So be patient with me, and you can laugh at me all you want in the comment section. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I think, is actually going to advance on the civilization track, and I'm going to advance on this one. Why? Because we're going to now activate 2 more fleet powers, as you can see right over here. So actually it's already a little bit from the first thing that we could have taken, and we're not going to upgrade our glory token, which is for me okay for now. So now we can put back the galaxy event right over here on the board, and now we can continue to phase B number 0, which is the first thing to reveal one of the situation cards. Obviously all of them are going to be number 1 because we already know it, but just to be a little bit theatrical over here. So when we have this number 1 over here, we're just going to take one of the crisis cards that is marked with number 1. So let's open it and see what we have. This card is called Precise Research. So let's see what we have over here. When you acquire a basic technology, choose to not gain the 4 influence or gain one without the 4 influence. So this is now going to be our current crisis. To be honest with you guys, I think this is what I'm going to do, but let's see how everything rolls. So after we did that, we're just going to continue and do our turn normally. Now, before I'm going to choose my first focus card, I want you to see the 3 heroic cards that we have over here. It is a Progress, Temptation, and Development. Now, the specific house that I'm playing does not have a Temptation card. Instead of that, we have a card that is called Crusade, that is replacing the Temptation card. And that means that in any case, we will not be able to use this heroic card. So what we need to do when we have a heroic focus card that the specific house that we're playing does not have it, we're going to simply discard it. We can put it back in the box, or we're not going to use this card. And we're going to draw another one instead. Now, of course, this is something that you need to do when you're setting up the game if it happens, but I just wanted to show you, in any case, what happens maybe in the 2nd or 3rd cycle. Now, when we want to use one of these heroic focus cards, we just need to discard a focus card that we have in our hand, and then use one of these heroic focus cards. So let's start already with the first action. And I think that I pretty much like what we see over here with the heroic Progress. So what I will do, I will discard my focus card that is Progress. Of course, I forgot that Innovation card is not going to be in the first cycle, so it's already here. And I'm going to discard this one in order to take the heroic Progress card. And the first action that I would like to do on this card is Experiment. So first of all, I'm going to put a Scientist Guild on this sector right over here because my home sector is full. So there you go, I'm going to put it right over here. And that means that the science production that we're going to have is going to go from 2 to 4. And then the second part of this action will be to produce science. So as you can see now, we're supposed to produce 3. So from 2, we will go to 5. Which is already not so bad. Then the second thing that I would like to do is the invent action. So first of all, let's pay 1 food. From 4, we will go down to 3. And also we will deactivate one of our fleet powers. And then first of all, let's take out one of the corruptions. So I would like to take this one out. And then the next thing that I want to do is to acquire a technology. Obviously, it's going to be a basic technology. So this will be a good time to resolve the current crisis card. So I think that the first thing that I'm going to do is take torpedoes, because I will try to be here a little bit aggressive. So as you can see, I'm taking this technology. First of all, we can take the 4 influence, but in order to resolve the crisis card, they're saying either take a technology that does not have the 4 influence, or take a technology and just don't accept it. And I'm like, okay, that is good for me. The second thing that we can see is that we will need to receive 2 materials. So from 2, we're going to go to 4, and we'll be able to deploy 1 corvette into our home sector. So far, I'm loving this. We're going to take 1 fleet power, and we're going to put it in the fleet token of the corvettes in our home sector. Then we can put the technology right over here, and this card that we just used, the Heroic Progress, we can just discard, and that is it. So now, after we did our actions, we're going to check if we resolved the one of the crisis cards or the current crisis card. So we already know that we resolved it, that is great. So we're just going to discard this crisis card, and we're going to put it next to the crisis cards that correspond with a number. So now when we continue to the cleanup, we don't have really something here to clean up. And usually we would have resolved the crisis card, but we already know that we resolved it. That means that we took it out. So we're just going to go back to number 0 of B phase. So let's continue. Of course, this is again going to be number 1. So we're going to draw another one, and that card is called For Tomorrow. So while resolving a prosperity focus, have 1 or more scientist guilds. Okay, so let's put it right over here and see what is the next thing that we would like to do. So actually the next thing that I would like to do is to use the Conquest Focus card. First of all, for Engage, we need to take out a 2 energy. So from 2, we're going to go down to 0. And we're going to invade this sector of the asteroid belt that we can see right over here. And we can see that on this asteroid belt, on this sector, we have only 1 sector defense right over here. So when we look at the combat board, we know that at the approach step, this sector defense is supposed to do 1 damage. But also with the dreadnoughts, we can see that when the dreadnought is part of the invasion, like we see right now, we're going to receive 1 approach absorption. So that is going to cancel each other, and since we don't have and we can't have on this sector 1 of the Voidborn fleets, then we actually now control this sector. So the first thing that we'll do is to take the glory token. We're going to add it to our stash right over here, and then we're going to score 3 influence. So from 10, we're going to go to 13. Next, we're going to take this bounty token, don't mind if I do, and we're going to add 1 food and 1 science. I prefer this over the 1 influence. So 1 food from 3, we're going to go to 4, and then 1 science from 5, we're going to go to 6. And after that, we can see that if we control this sector, we're going to increase the production level of energy and materials by 1. So from 2, we're going to go to 3. And with materials, it's going to be the same thing. From 2, we're going to go to 3. Now, just for you guys to see, first of all, this sector can never be corrupted and can never have 1 of the Voidborn fleet tokens on it. Basically, it cannot be targeted for a skirmish. The last thing, as we can see right over here, is that every time we're going to use a development focus card, we're going to deploy 2 fleet powers over here to this sector. So this is quite strong. I think that what we need to do is to make sure that we're activating as many fleet powers as we can. Now, the second action, as I told you, that I want to do on this card is strategize. And that means that we need to pay 1 energy and 1 credit. Since we don't have energy at all, I'm just going to pay 2 credits. And that will allow us to take 1 agenda card and or remove corruption. Since right now we're completely pure, we don't have corruption on our sectors or our boards, I'm just going to take 1 agenda card. So I think I would like to go more towards production, but I'm not loving the cards that I'm seeing over here because I think it's going to take some time for me to acquire two advanced technologies. So let me take two cards from here and then choose one. Okay, so the card that I didn't choose, I'm going to put back at the bottom of the deck, and I have chosen the agenda card that is called Technological Singularity that we'll see a little bit later. Now that we finished our turn, we're going to go to cleanup, and now we need to resolve actually this crisis card. So we didn't manage to accomplish, and we have here a few options. The first option is to resolve the penalty that we have over here. Since I don't want to hurt any one of the technologies, I'm not going to do that. The second option is to take this crisis card and put it in one of the rows. Now, if it's only red, then we would have put it over here. If it's only light bluish, we're going to put it right over here. Since this is a generic one or general one, we will be able to choose where we would like to put this. The third option is just to take one catastrophe token and put it next to our board, and then we can discard this card. But this, I think, should be, again, this is not any kind of strategical advices video, but I think this is going to be a little bit extreme. First of all, because at the end of the game, the Voidborn will score 20 influence for each one of those. And also, if we need to acquire the fourth one, we automatically lose this game. So what I will do is just make this current crisis an ongoing crisis, and I'm going to choose to put it right over here. And that means that the next time that, for example, I need to resolve the board, don't worry, we'll see it a bit later, I will need to resolve one skirmish, as we can see over here, and also I will need to pay the resources that we can see on the leftmost side of this row. And also, since this is not upkeep, I can pay with credits. So we finished with that, and then we're going to be back. So we need to take another situation card. What a surprise, number one. And then we're going to have another crisis card with number one on it. So this card is called Study the Voidborn. And it says that after you place a scientist guild, choose to also recall one fleet power from the same sector. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit maybe more complicated, but we'll see what's going on. So let's put it as the current crisis and move to the next part. The next focus card that I would like to play is the Prosperity. So the first thing that I would like to do is Flourish. So we're going to pay one material from 4, we're going to go down to 3. And then I'm going to advance this specific sieve track, the economical one if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to put it right over here and going to receive 2 credits. So from 1, we're going to go to 3. The next thing that I would like to do is the store. So we'll be able to produce one of the resources and then gain 2 resources. I see that I'm kind of low on energy. So let's take it from 0 to 2. For 2 resources, I think I will take 2 credits. So from 3, we're going to go to 5. So now after we finished our actions, we can go to the ongoing crisis card that we've put before, and it says that in order to take out this ongoing crisis while resolving a prosperity focus, we need to have at least one scientist guild. So we have actually 2. So everything okay, the conditions have met, and that means that we can take this ongoing crisis card and discard it. Now for the cleanup, we need to see what we want to do with this card. Now one of the options is to resolve whatever that we have over here, and in this case it means to put one fleet power of the Voidborn in each rift. So that's actually okay for me. I prefer to add one fleet power to the Voidborn in each rift and not to deal with this crisis later. So usually in normal sectors, we know that we cannot have, for example, over here in this sector, we cannot have more than one fleet token of the Voidborn. That means that we cannot have more than 3 fleet power. But in different sectors, we're going to have maybe some adjustments. Like in this sector, for example, it will be possible to have up to 2 fleet tokens of the Voidborn. And over here, we can have even up to 3, which means even 9 fleet power for the Voidborn. So there is no problem to add 1 to each. And since we did resolve this crisis card, we're just going to discard it. All right, so going into the next round, we will again draw one of these situation cards, number 1. And to be honest, guys, I'm so sorry. All of these cards need to be actually over here. So I'm sorry about that. Let's put it like this. And we're going to draw the next one. And this one is burning bridges. So after you put whichever guild that you want, choose to also take out one bounty token from any sector and one reclaim token also from any sector. So let's put it right over here. Now, as you can see, guys, this is already a military crisis. And that means that if we're not going to resolve it, it's going to come right over here. Now, it's enough that I'm going to cover this one to have in the next skirmish +1 a fleet power to go against with the Voidborn. And because we already have, because of our specific house that we have chosen, +1, that means that we're starting to risk it. So let's try to get rid of this at some point. But the next thing that I would like to do actually is to play the politic cards that we can see right over here. This is a politic cards that is specific for this house. And as I said, I will try to be a little bit more aggressive. So the first thing that I would like to do is the Exalt. And that means that I need to pay 2 food. It might bite me a little bit in the behind later, but from 4, we're going to go down to 2. And that means that we can do 2 things. First of all, advance this specific civilization track 1 step forward, and also we'll be able to upgrade one of our glory tokens. So let's do that. Let's advance right over here, and that means that we can deploy 2 fleet power. So that is exactly what I would like to do. I'm going to take both of them, and I'm going to put both of them right over here. And now I will upgrade one of my glory tokens. So let's take this one, number 2, and replace it with number 3. The next thing that I would like to do is retaliate. And here we can see that we can invade into a corrupted sector. This is important because we cannot invade to a non-corrupted sector with this action. So first of all, let's pay 2 energy. From 2, we're going to go down to 0. And we're going to take most of our power over here and move it over here. We're going to invade over here. So I would like to keep control this sector, so I'm not going to take this corvette right over here, but with the rest of the forces, I am going to invade. So let's put it right over here and see what is going on. So we don't have here sector defenses, which is pretty good for us. And that means that we have nothing in the approach step. And then we're going to the first salvo round, and we'll see who has more initiative. The Voidborn has 3, we have 5. 4 because what we can see, and also +1 because we have a Dreadnought. And that means that we're going to fire first. So I remind you that because we have the torpedoes, we're going to do 2 damage instead of 1. So we can take this one and this one right over here. And then it's going to be their turn to fire. Unfortunately, we don't have shields or something like that. So we're going to take this damage. This corvette has been hit, and we're going to just recall the fleet power back to our active area on our board. And then in the next salvo round, obviously we have the initiative. We're going to fire first, and that means that this guy is going home. So now a few things are going to happen. Let's start with the easy ones, okay? So we're going to take this glory token of 2, and we're going to score the influence. So here we have 6, and from 13 we're going to go to 19. The next thing is that we're going to take this cute bounty token, and let's see what we have over here, either 1 influence or 2 materials. So I think we're going to again go with a material. From 3 we're going to go up to 5. And this goes right over here. The next thing, as stated right over here on the sector, is that once you have taken control on this sector, you can move this corruption to somewhere else, let's say. So actually that is something that I would like to do. And I'm going to do something maybe going to be a little bit weird for you guys, but trust me on this one. So I'm going to take this corruption, and I'm going to move it actually to my board. So I'm going to put it right over here. And every time that I'm going to put here one of these guilds, either green, red, or yellow, I will be able to push one in the population if this sector is pure. Okay, and the last thing that we have here in the solo cooperation mode is that I'm going to take this Harbinger and I'm going to put it on the crisis board. Now, either I'm going to put it right over here, or I'm going to put it over here. And this is basically like we have a card. So when I have a Harbinger right over here, it means that this is actually what is going to happen when we will resolve the board, or if I'm going to put it here, it's going to be the same. I think that right now I prefer to deal with the economical part of the crisis board, so I'm going to put this one right over here. So that's it, we finished taking our actions. Now we're going to go to the cleanup. So again, we need to resolve whatever happens right over here. Since I didn't manage to meet the condition and I don't want to take the penalty, and obviously I don't want to take one of the catastrophe tokens, this has to go and be an ongoing crisis. All right, so let's go and do our last turn. First of all, let's draw another one of these situation cards, number 1. And it says that we're going to meet the condition of this card if we're going to put a Banker's Guild while already having at least one Banker's Guild. Okay, so let's put it right over here. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to do is play the Development Focus card and use the agenda card that we have taken before, the Technological Singularity. I think that what I would like to do is start pushing the population right over here up, because if we're going to have here 6 population and 3 guilds, we will be able to start sending our non-active fleet power to the safe havens. So let's start with the agenda card, and I will put a farmers guild right over here. So I've put it, this is a pure sector. I'm going to now put it from 3 to 4 population. And that means that over here from 0, we're going to have 4. And not only that, on the agenda card, it says that we're going to produce the same guild that we have put on one of the sectors. So from 2, we're going to have 3 more. So we will have 5. Now, of course, after we have put a farmers guild, so we can go to the military ongoing crisis card that we have over here. And it says after you put whichever guild that you want, again, you need to take out 1 bounty token and 1 reclaim token from any place that you would like in the sectors. So I think that we're going to take maybe this reclaim token over here and also the bounty token. So we've met the condition. This is okay, and that means that this crisis card is going to be discarded, right? Because we've met the condition, so we can put it right over here. The next thing that I will do is to grow. So we're going to go from 5 materials down to 4, and with that I will actually take a sector defense and put it just to make sure that we're okay over here in this sector. And the last thing that I would like to do is to settle, and that means that I'm going to recall one of these fleet powers over here from this sector, and in the same sector I will put 1 guild and 1 of the installations. So again, really, to be honest with you guys, I would like to have a Bankers Guild, but the thing is that pushing the population over here is really quite strong. So I think I'm going to put over there an Engineer Guild. So let's put it like this. And that means that we can, from 4, have a 5 population. And we're going to go from energy production of 3 to 8. And also we can have 1 installation over there. So here I'm going to actually put a shipyard. And that's it. So now for the cleanup, let's see what we have. We only need to take this agenda card that we used, and we're going to put it right over here. We will need to pay more for the upkeep, but that is okay with me because I think we have enough. And also we need to resolve this crisis card. So since we didn't manage to meet the condition over here, we can either take this crisis card and put it on the crisis board, or what we will do is to resolve the penalty. And the penalty means that we will need to have a skirmish. All right, so let's have a skirmish. We know that the Voidborn is going to attack me with 2. 1 because we have 1 corruption on our board, and another one because this is our house, right? With 1 more every time we're going to do a skirmish. So with 2. Now let's see what is going to happen. If he's attacking me over here with 2, 1 he's going to lose because of the sector defense, then we're going to have the initiative, so over here he will lose. Over here is going to happen something a little bit similar. So he's going to attack with 2. We're going to have the initiative because we have the dreadnought. That means 1 more. So 3 versus 2. And because we have the torpedoes, we're going to do 1 more damage. And that means that we're going to destroy 2 for him. Obviously, these 2 sectors cannot be invaded to. So we survived our skirmish. Now, on the card over here, it says that if we survived our skirmish, if we manage to defend, we will receive a 2 influence. But also on our board, it says that if we're defending successfully a skirmish, we're going to have +2. And that means that we're going to have 4 more influence. So from 19, we're going to go to 23. So that is great. And we managed to take care of this crisis card, so we're going to discard it. And that's it. So now it's time to go to phase C. So the first thing that we need to do is to resolve the board. So over here, we already saw what happens when we have a skirmish, right? The Void One will not be able to successfully attack us. And that means that because of our board, we're going to receive 2 more influence because we managed to defend a skirmish. So from 23, we're going to go to 25. After we have resolved the military part of the crisis board, we're going to go to the economical part of the board. Now, since we have the Harbinger right over here, that means that we will need to resolve this part. And that means to pay 1 material and 1 energy. So material will go down from 4 to 3. But since we don't have energy, but this is not the upkeep phase, I will be able to pay for this energy with credit. So from 5 credit, we will go down to 4. The next thing that we need to do is to pay for upkeep. So we can see over here that we have 2, 4, and 1 more from our home sector. So that means 5 food, for example, or whichever way that we want with the materials and energy. I think that right now what we will do is to pay 5 food. So from 5, we're going to go down to 0. The next thing over here is to deploy one of the inactive fleet powers to the safe havens, but we're still not meeting the conditions, so let's talk about it a little bit later. And then we will need to resolve whatever we have here on the galactic event. So basically we don't meet any one of the conditions because over here we can see that they asking to have a non-corrupted sieve tracker on 1 or more. We don't meet this, and we don't have 1 or more glory tokens with 4 on it, so nothing happens for us over here, which is a little bit bad. But now it's time to go to number 4 in phase C, and that is to resolve our agenda cards. So here for every 2 non-corrupted population, we will receive 1 influence points. So we have here 4 and 5, that is 9. So that means 4 influence, right? Divided by 2. So from 25, we will go to 29. Next, for every pure sector that has 1 or more shipyards, we will receive 3 influence. We have this pure sector, 2 and 3. So that means 9 influence points. So from 29, we're going to go to 38. And then moving to the second agenda card, if we have 4 or more technologies, something, doesn't matter, we don't have. And over here we can see that for every 2 pure sectors that we have, we will receive 5 influence. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that means divide by 2, multiply by 5, that means 10 influence. So from 38, we're going to go to 48. And that's it, guys. That is the first cycle for this solo scenario. See you soon for the second cycle.